Is that me, Sean? I'd like to thank you, Sean, for bringing me back to the people. He does it. He just presses this button, that button, fades up and fades down, and goes abracadabra, abracado. Out you go and control the show. You're all over the world listening to us and viewing us at the moment. In America, in Hong Kong, in Australia, in Canada, in South Africa, all over the place. And of course, all over the island of Ireland. This is Lucy Corcoran, and I'm Rowan Hand. And Lucy is a lady of Voluntary Arts Ireland, yeah?
That's right.
And Voluntary Arts Ireland dispatches this woman, along with an army of other beautiful women, out across the island. And their function is to go and infiltrate the artistry of great festivals and to bring the magic of Voluntary Arts Ireland. And their magic is effort, sweat and blood to help make the thing a success. Is that not it?
That's
And at the moment, you're up in Hillsborough, which is just 30 minutes up the road from us, and you're helping them with a wonderful festival that's coming. It's called the Sunflower Festival.
That's the one.
And what's your function?
I am managing 2 stages, the Moot stage and the Campfire stage at Sunflower Fest. I went along as a volunteer just to see if they needed a little hand, and just told them the kind of things I like to do. So I run a little music night called Jam once a month in Newcastle, and they liked the sound of that and asked me if I could recreate that.
What is Jam?
Jam is it's a movement, and it creates a space, and it gets artists and musicians together with people who appreciate music, and we come along together in different locations. Some of them can be secret locations. They can be cafes, pop-up shops.
I like secret. That's
secret
good.
Locations.
Yeah.
They can be function rooms in the back of an Italian restaurant, like
you're down in the corner.
We're just usually down in the back room, listening to a bit of music, local musicians, just having a good time. So it works well for musicians. A lot of musicians can be. You know, you're playing in front of very drunk people in pubs, and you're putting, you know, all your effort is going out, and everyone's just talking over you, and it can get very frustrating.
It's much better to have to imbibe the very finest Chianti in your jam evening, rather than being drinking in pubs with these crude fellows in pubs.
Well, this is it. You can bring some of the. It got quite popular because some of the locations didn't have licenses, so it meant that we could bring your own
wine or whatever.
So you can just have a little glass of wine, listen to some really good music, chat amongst some other people who appreciate music.
Yeah.
And
hey, this is a little bit of Temple Bar that you're bringing to Newcastle.
Well, I think it might be.
You are a Dubliner.
I am a Dubliner, and visiting Dublin, you just stand on the street and you have a choice of lots of different places to go, loads of different music, and lots of different genres of music. And you come up to Newcastle, there is some things going on, but I just felt that it would be lovely to have a space in an area where musicians can play.
You live in Castlewellan.
I live in Castlewellan,
What brought you to live from Dublin, and the wonderment of Castle Bar and all the rest of it in Dublin, the Canal Quarter and whatever? What brought you to a place like Castlewellan?
The film industry, maybe.
Wow, tell me more, tell me more.
The film industry, I worked for 10 years as a wardrobe assistant on film and TV.
Wow,
at theatre, in just freelance, so everything from the Gaiety Theatre to a lot of time in Ardmore Studios, and lots of times in little council estates doing Bachelor's Walk and different TV programmes. So because of the different tax breaks, etc., the film business was slowing down a wee bit down in Dublin. And Game of Thrones was coming up here.
Who was?
Game of Thrones.
Oh yes,
the
of course.
HBO. There's a couple of big HBO jobs, and there was Your Highness and a few jobs coming up.
So you were there in line for those jobs. You're positioning yourself.
Yeah, we said, well, we'll come up here, and obviously it's an awful lot. Your money goes further up north.
Yeah, it's sad in the Republic at the moment because people are enduring such awful hardship, for goodness sake.
That's it. And
you've seen this at close quarters, I suppose.
Even my personal friends would be in nearly every friend that bought in the last 5-6 years are all in negative equity.
Wow, negative equity.
So
that's a disease, isn't it?
It is.
It's awful.
It is. So I escaped that and came up here, and luckily the film industry is booming up here now.
Yeah.
I've actually just come off one. Just came off film, which is called Our Robot Overlords.
Our Robot
Overlords.
Overlords.
A huge big film. It's like a kids Transformers film with Ben Kingsley in it.
Wow.
So that
have
was
you
filmed
worked
up
with
here.
Ben?
I was his personal dresser.
Were you?
I was.
Tell me about Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley is
He's such a
amazing.
fantastic person.
He would live up to any expectations you have already. He would like you to think that he's very demanding and he's a star, but he is.
But you scratch him a little bit.
Gentlest,
and
calmest,
he's very
patient
quiet,
person.
patient, wonderful person.
He walks in a room and he's just patient. And
don't you think?
quiet.
Don't you think that in life, it's been my experience on my journey, that those who are brilliant and excellent are chilled and at ease. Those who are less than chilled and excellent are always frenetic and panicking and demanding and I am a star, come and talk to me kind of thing.
Now, having said that, you have to call him sir.
Yeah, it's all right.
But you know, he earned it.
Did you say to him, Ben? Oh, sorry, sir. May I call you Ben?
No, we had a meeting to make sure that didn't happen.
Really? Oh, well, sure, that's all right,
but
too. Yeah.
But if someone called him Ben, you knew that they weren't talking about Sir Ben. It was a different person.
A different
so you
Ben,
just knew it was.
But it's lovely.
But
it's lovely.
It was amazing to see how they would film.
The nearest I come to that is I went to New York in the company of Andrew Sachs. We were going over to make a documentary. That was the second time, but the first time I was going to meet Liam on Broadway, Liam Neeson, and I wanted Liam to present a film I was making about the art world, the story of Roderick O'Connor, the great Irish artist, Le Voyage. And Liam was going to do the voice and the presentation work on it for me. And we had arranged to meet at the theatre in Broadway and had the conversation, blah, 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 after the show. And we were sitting there talking, and who walks in but Barbara Streisand. Oh. And we greeted, hello, how are you? Said hello, and he introduced. And he said, I'll join you in a little while, Barbara. He was in a relationship with her at that time. And then off she went, and he said, look, it's Barbara's birthday today, so I'll be going to join her. If you don't mind, I'll be heading on now. So anyway, his ability to do the work for us fell through. He couldn't do it for all sorts of reasons. There I went. Then I sought far and wide, cast my net, and who did I get but that wonderful, wonderful voice, that wonderful documentary maker, Andrew Sachs. And it was great. And I recommend Le Voyage to you. But we're blessed. We work in an industry that's pantomime, morning, noon, and night, don't we?
Well, this is it.
Could you imagine working in an office? No.
I couldn't. I think I'd get bored very quickly in one space. I prefer going out there and meeting people. And although working with Voluntary Arts Ireland, the way that they can sustain themselves is by being online and doing a lot of things by Facebook and social media and Twitter and all those kind of things.
This is crazy stuff, isn't it?
But you can. I find if you attend an event, you just talk to so many people, and you inspire other people by talking to them and saying what you're doing and and then just making those connections with other people. You can't do that with a quick email or with Facebook. I think it's better just face to face, chatting to people, and then no matter who you talk to, you have something in common, or you will know somebody.
Already this morning we didn't believe this was going to happen. We've had Ben Kingsley, we've had Andrew Sachs, we've had Liam Neeson, we've had Barbara Streisand.
We've only started. I can tell you about all the fantastic bands that are on in Sunflower Fest.
I knew you had a reason for being here. This woman has got a reason for being here.
I could promote some of the fantastic Northern Irish music.
I think she's going to promote some of the fantastic Northern Ireland music. That's what she's going to do.
I could do that.
So tell them about Sunflower, first of all, because we did have the Lady of Sunflower with us about a month ago.
You did. You have Vanessa McGowan on, who is a beautiful, beautiful Australian lady.
Oh, I fell in love with her immediately. It was wonderful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
She has a lovely husband called Michael, who's
gentle, lovely people.
Yeah, he's from Hillsborough, and they just love putting on a party.
That's
basically
the Sunflower Festival is a party.
It's a party.
Full stop.
But it's a family-friendly party.
Yeah.
There's a family section, so there's lots of activities for the kids to do, and then there's a bliss section, so that's got all your healing elements, so you can try out gong baths and different things, and yoga. There'll be lots of that.
And also lots of laughter yoga. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of yoga.
I only heard about it last week, and I've been splitting my sides about it ever since. It's great. So I think we should tell the people that it's on the Sunflower Festival down the road at Hillsborough is on from the 9th to the 11th of August.
That's it.
And it's a huge farm. Well, not huge, but it's a big farm.
22-acre farm.
Yeah.
11 acres are put aside for the festival site, and it's a site that's there all year round. So they build the structures, and they're there all year round. They've got you go up to the area. They've got a huge big pirate stage.
Wow!
So you're going down the driveway. There's a big pirate stage, and then you come to a barn. It's all painted lovely and colourful, murals. And then there's a moot stage, which is a fantastic.
That's your stage.
That's my stage.
Yeah. So also the campfire stage.
And there's a campfire stage beside it, so it'll be the place to hang out. The moot stage luckily has a bar in it as well, so you've got campfires and 2 stages and a bar. And the moot stage is like if you can imagine 2 big African huts put together with aluminium, or I presume it's aluminium kind of roofing. We've got lovely seating around it, and then I had to get a few artists in to help us paint murals and make it a bit special.
You found them in Hillsborough.
I found, well, one is Martin McParland, and he's from Newcastle, and the other one is Brian Cunning, and he runs an organisation called Vent, and they do a lot of murals.
Vent?
And they're doing a lot of stuff for Culture Night and all the different festivals.
That's interesting. We should be talking to him on this programme.
We'll get him on.
Vent, I think so. We'll do this thing.
So I think the premise of Vent was to have a lovely big wall, and everyone can just have a spray can or a brush and just
do it.
Just do it, just paint.
Burgeoning Banksties.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so. Would be very good.
So
the kind of music that we can expect at Sunflower.
There is a huge range of music. So going to the main stage, the Osric Tentacles, I don't know if you've come across them in your past.
I have to tell you, with the greatest joy and alacrity, I have not.
Have you not? Right, well, you're going to have to look them up, because I think
you're
joking.
Like them.
They are starting their 30-year anniversary in Hillsborough.
And what are they called?
Ireland. They're called Osric Tentacles.
Oh, how do you spell that? Osric.
Osric.
O-S.
I think it's
O-Z
or I-C.
Or I-C.
And then Tentacles.
Tentacles. T-E-N-T-I-C. We shall look that up.
Have a look and see what you think.
You fascinated me with the name there. Goodness gracious. And what sort of music do they play?
They play... I think you should just look them up and have a look them up.
I'll tell you, we have a piece of music that we will play in a short while, and Sean will look it out now if he can. That fella John Fairhurst, he's good. Have we got that handy, Sean? But we'll hear that in a minute or two. There's plenty of time. So, what else happens?
Well, in the Moot has turned into an area, and it's a platform for local musicians, comedy and poetry to happen in a small, unplugged environment. So it's a reasonably small stage, but it's the place that everyone's going to hang out. We built some beautiful big seats, and I've made huge, big, giant bean bags.
Wow.
I was looking at...
I'm going to go there and stay forever and ever and
that's
ever.
What a lot of people say. They just want that to be their life when you turn up. It's just an amazing lifestyle as well, you know.
Then they go back to suburbia and backyards and start creating all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, well, and it's a great place to meet other people as well. So there's other promoters there, and there's other artists, and there's artists that are working there on site as we speak, just making the place beautiful. But so the musicians that I have in the Moot are mostly from Northern Ireland. I have a few from Dublin. There's a lovely guy called Russell Hogg, who's from Dublin, and Ross Maguire from Newcastle. But I've got we have some amazing musicians playing. There's a brilliant band that have just started from Hillsborough called Afresh, and they are a mixture of Zimbabwe musicians.
Wow.
So we start off with a sitar player, then we have a drum circle. So
see, Africa's coming into this now, because I'm in Africa as well, northwest Nigeria, over the Niger. Right. Spent a lot of time there. We built schools there. So suddenly we have all kinds of connectivity going on here through Sunflower. And
that's it.
You know, it's
about just seeing what's going on around and having it as a platform for everything that's happening already. Yeah. So there's going to be an amazing djembe drum workshop. So we're providing the drums, and you come along and just give it a go, you know.
Absolutely.
And then that's before Fresh, and we've got Kieran Lavery, who's also playing tomorrow in Newcastle at my night jam. Wow. He's playing in the Anchor Bar, if anyone wants to have a sneak preview.
Jam! You go there, Anchor Bar tomorrow night in Newcastle, and you find him there.
And he's supported by Kat Hepworth, who's a lovely new musician that's coming through. And
have you a site where people can get all of these details?
I'm on Facebook, so there's a Facebook page for the musicians, and it's called Jam. So just to make it confusing for the people who want to come along to it, it's called Open Jam.
Open Jam.
If you look up Open Jam on Facebook, and you can find out all the different things.
And that's as organic as you're going to get, I tell you.
And it happens the first Saturday of every month.
Okay.
So I have fantastic bands booked up till December, and I've got a waiting list for next year.
Open Jam. That's what people need to look up. And in relation to Sunflower, they look up what?
For Sunflower Fest, look up www.sunflowerfest.co.uk.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Lucy, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Look at that. He's the guy.
You've got them ready.
I think this, you can tell me afterwards if this is the kind of guy and the kind of music we might expect to experience at Sunflower.
Okay, it's looking good already.
Thank you for coming in.
No problem, thank you.
You're very kind. Bye-bye. Sean?